Yeah, what I would confirm that, the corporate life, for the good and bad, is something which actually drives you do things you don't understand why you're doing it with, and there is no disrespect to that kind of way of working or living. It's just that it's a machinery which you either follow that and live that, or you out.
Yeah.
And I worked on such an autopilot that I didn't even think that there is some other way of living. So as we all and many of us live on autopilot, my autopilot was bringing me to the corporate ladder, and I got a big corporate job with international responsibility and traveled. I just mentioned a couple of days ago. I remembered, spending 2 days in Sydney on a business trip is kind of like, why would you do that, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things. So and of course you do it because it's needed, and you just live that life, and suddenly you realize that 5 or 10 years of your life are gone, and only then you realize that your family sort of is only part of it. It's not like a pillar of your life, if you know what I mean. It's more like you have decided to go that route, and you are enabler for me to achieve this. And for the when I look at it now, it's just completely crazy. So how can you? And then you look at everybody as a vehicle for you to achieve something you decided to achieve. And normally I don't even think about that past much. It's all gone. So I'm not trying to really digging into the past. But sometimes when friends or like yourself asking me about that, I'm just thinking about it. What kind of crazy life that was. And after what I call the crash was my burnout, then I completely turned everything upside down and brought me here. Actually, I guess if I didn't burn out, we would never meet. I would never meet the Iceman, because it would just not be
on the radar
for me to achieve even bigger job, more money, and all that. So now it's much more how to say, free life. Freedom is of course very subjective term. However, what it means for all of us is that the more you get inside yourself, the more you feel that you live in a cage, and when you can step out from the cage only when you decide to live out of the cage. So I'm really appreciate all those years living that life, because that would never, that would most likely never brought me here, and would not kind of consider living a different life.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting thing, because at the other Wachama talks and most of the discussions in Wageningen are about giant corporates, huge companies, and we just don't know what is happening up there. What are the leaders' mindset up there? What is their motivation? How can they do that? And it's very interesting to step in the shoes of a leader who was there, and to see that there are also costs. It's not just about the high salary, the power, and sometimes fame, what some of the CEOs have, but there are also some difficult steps, like you get into this tunnel zone or tunnel view, and the time goes pretty fast. What other more difficulties you have? I guess huge responsibility.
I was a CEO, so I had hundreds and hundreds of people under me, and I had many countries, basically all Central Europe, so like 100+ million people in financial technologies, banking, and so a lot of operational exposure. It's a lot of responsibility for people. You get some somebody from the headquarters cutting your cost by 5-10%, which layoffs, and then you grow, and then you hire people, so you need to hire 100 people over a year. 3 years down the road, you need to get rid of 100 people, and all that ups and downs. But as I said, I really I'm thankful for that experience, and particularly my family, because my family was, kids and my wife, who was really supporting me in whatever I decided to do. And I just didn't realize how that all has happened, and how 10 years went by. And I feel really I can step into the shoes of those people who run these big companies. It's not easy. On the other hand, there are benefits, but as someone said, I mean, money will not buy you happiness. So you have all that responsibility, you have all that money, but you pay either with your mental health, or your kids grow up without you noticing, so that will never come back, because they're suddenly teenagers and you just don't realize. I'm not saying that really happened to me, because I was really trying to be with the little girls as much as I could, but I could have spent more time with them, and I'm trying to do that now, and have more time with them now. But so you always have like the balance. So if you put something in your career like this, always it's you losing somewhere else. And I was lucky enough that my burnout came, which was after my corporate life. So then I went to London, work for a now quite significant venture fund, and we worked like nights and days, and traveled a lot, and left my family here, traveled to London and US and other places, and suddenly it was just just no energy, and had to stay home half a year, and that was again my family who supported me, because I was basically unable to function as you know it. So no reading newspapers, no watching TVs. I couldn't sort of function for multiple months. But again, very positive thing which could have happened. Great thing, because I started reading. Started with Dalai Lama and ended up with Michael Singer and through Eckhart Tolle and all these fabulous people with great spirits, and also Wim Hof, who is a fantastic and phenomenal motivator, and who has created a method which part of which is basically putting you into different dimensions. So it's not about the cold as we know it. It's not about the breathing. Those are enablers to go inside and feel much better, and that helps in everyday life.